All right, good morning. Welcome to practice, whether you're joining me live or on the replay at another point in time. Go ahead and come down onto your back. All right, so as you come onto your back, just take a moment to bend your knees. Start to gently sway your knees from side to side. Start by checking in with your body, noticing how you feel today. Start to deepen your breath a little bit, letting your next in breath inflate your chest, your ribs, your belly. That sense of the whole torso broadening and widening. And as you exhale, just let yourself relax into the floor. All right, and then we'll come to stillness. Let your left leg straighten. Take your right knee into your chest. Give it a gentle squeeze. Move it a bit from side to side. And then start to rotate through your right ankle. Wiggle the toes, move them around a little bit. Rotate both ways. And then shift the movement into your right hip. So just release your arms down. And then with your right knee, start to draw a big circle in space. Change directions. All right, and then the next time your right knee comes into your chest, catch it once again. Pick your head up, bring your forehead near your knee, take a breath. And then release your head down to the floor. Take the right knee over towards the floor on the left. So you're rolling fully onto your left hip at this point. If you want some support underneath your head, maybe rest on your left arm or a soft prop like a blanket or a block. And then take your right hand to your right shoulder, and then we'll start to rotate here. So with your elbow, draw that big circle in space. All right, and change directions. All right, so after a few circles each way, if you are laying on your left arm, untuck it so that you can stack your arms. And your fingers are essentially reaching in the direction that you're looking. So take a breath in with your hands together. Exhale as you twist, right arm sweeps up and over towards the floor behind you. Two more times. Inhale, hands back together. Exhale and twist. And one more, breathing in. And breathing out. And then just make any little adjustment to the rotation to be even 5% more comfortable. So you may wish to take your left hand to your top knee. You could also let your head sway a little bit from side to side and find the most comfortable place for your neck, for your head to rest. And as you pause here in this relatively still posture, sense the continuous movement of your breath. Each inhalation flows in through the nose, moving down toward the belly. With each exhale, the belly draws slightly in toward the spine, and your breath moves back up and out through your nose. All right, two more breaths. All right, begin to unravel your twist. Slowly roll back onto your back. Let your bent right knee stay bent as it now drops over to the right side. essentially like you're doing a tree pose on your back. So your right foot is at your inner left thigh. Pause a moment. Take a deep breath. Now we'll also bend the left knee, so walk your left foot in. Cross the right ankle over the left thigh. Bring the legs in toward the chest, reaching through for your left leg. Now you might be grabbing around your left shin, behind the knee, or if reaching all the way through to your left leg is not comfortable for your proportions, you can just leave the left foot down on the floor and just hold the foot and the knee of the right leg, which is the one we're trying to stretch anyway. All right, 3 rounds of breath. All right, and then after your third breath, just begin to straighten your left leg up toward the ceiling. Straighten the right leg up to join it so you have your right ankle on top of your left ankle. And then interlace your fingers. Take your hands behind your head, but rest your head and elbows on the floor. Inhale as you slowly lower your legs toward the floor. Now, we'll all have a different place where the legs need to stop because it becomes just intense enough. So your feet might be close to the floor, they might not. And then when you're ready to exhale, slowly pull your legs back up. If it feels too heavy to pull the legs up straight, just bend the knees as you pull the legs up. All right, 4 more. Inhale to lower. Exhale to lift. Inhale to lower. Exhale to lift. Inhale to lower. Exhale and lift. Inhale to lower. Exhale and lift. All right, one more. Breathing in. And breathing out. All right, uncross the legs, take your feet to the floor, step them wide apart, and one more time, sway your knees from side to side. All right, release the hands from behind the head. Straighten out your right leg this time. Take your left knee into your chest. Give it a gentle squeeze. Move it a bit from side to side. Rotate through your left ankle. Wiggle and scrunch the toes. Move them around in space as much as they're able to. So if you don't feel your toes moving around in space, just take your attention to your toes. Just imagine your toes moving. After you've rotated a few times through your ankle each way, shift the movement now into your left hip. So release your arms. Then with your left knee, draw a big circle in space. And change directions. All right, so the next time your left knee comes into your chest, catch it again. Pick your head up, bring your forehead near your knee, take a breath. And then release your head to the floor. Take your right knee or your left knee over towards the floor on the right. So you're just fully rolling onto your hip, onto your right hip. And again, if you want support underneath your head, maybe use your right arm or a soft prop. And then we'll take that left hand to the left shoulder. And with the elbow, start to draw a big circle in space. And change directions. All right, now if that right arm is underneath your head, go ahead and untuck it And then stack your arms with your fingertips reaching in the direction that you're looking. So over towards the right side of your mat. Take a breath in with your palms together, filling up the space in between the shoulder blades and down the back. Exhale as you twist. Left arm up and over. 2 more times. Inhale, arms back together. Exhale and twist. And one more like that. Breathing in. And breathing out. And then make any little adjustment to your rotation, to your twist, to make yourself even 5% more comfortable. So sometimes it's nice to take that right hand to the left knee, to the top knee. Maybe let your head sway a bit from side to side. See where your head naturally wants to land. And then bring your attention back to the awareness of your breath, creating space and expansion as you breathe in. And that space for ease and release as you breathe out. All right, take one more breath. Begin to unravel your rotation by rolling back onto your back. Keep that left knee bent, and then we'll drop the left knee out to the side. So left foot is kind of at the inner right thigh, similar to a tree pose, but laying on your back. And take a full breath in and out. All right, now bend the right knee, walk the foot in. Cross your left ankle over your right thigh. Bring your legs into your chest, reach through for that right leg. Rock a bit side to side. Again, if it's not comfortable to grab around the shin, you can grab behind the knee. Or if grabbing all the way through to grab that right leg is too much, just leave the right foot on the floor. Hold on to left knee and left foot, because this is the leg we're trying to stretch anyway. All right, 3 more rounds of breath. All right, so after your 5th breath, go ahead and straighten both legs up toward the ceiling. Left ankle on top this time. Interlace your fingers, hands behind the head and elbows on the floor. 5 more of these. Inhale, begin to lower your legs. Try to keep them straight if you can, but stop at whatever point on the lowering part of the breath when you need to stop. Then as you exhale, pull the legs back up. Again, either staying straight or bend the knees on the way up. 4 more, breathing in. And breathing out. 3 more. Last 2. And last 1. All right, release your feet to the floor, step them wide. Again, sway your knees from side to side. Just let go of all that gripping in the belly and really anywhere else that might have been tensing in support. Sometimes the facial muscles tense up a little bit. Deep breath in and out. All right, and then just roll to one side. Press yourself up onto hands and knees. Now, if you do have blocks to practice with, you may wish to have them near the top of the mat just in case you decide to use them. So from hands and knees, hands are under shoulders, knees underneath the hips. We'll move through a few cycles of cat and cow. So each time that you inhale, let your belly drop. Your head and your tailbone lift up. As you exhale, tuck the tail, round the back, chin toward the chest. Again, breathing in, belly drops, head and tail lift. Exhale, tuck, and round. Now 3 more breaths at your own speed. All right, 1 more breath. All right, bring your torso back to neutral. Tuck your toes under. Lift your knees. Take your hips all the way up into the air as you start to straighten out the legs a little bit. So when I say that, that doesn't mean your legs need to be straight here. In fact, for many of us, it feels really nice to let one knee bend deeply while the other leg straightens a little bit, sensing into the straighter of the 2 legs, and then switch. After you do that back and forth a few times, pause with your heels hovering just a little bit here and really focus on reaching your tailbone up. The sense of your belly moving toward your thighs. Let your facial muscles and your neck relax a bit. And sense into all of your fingertips and give them a little bit more weight. All right, release down to your knees. Step your left foot out to the side, directly out from your hip. Walk the hands in so that you can lift your torso up. We'll take our palms together in front of the heart. Interlace the fingers. Press the palms forward and up. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, side bend over to the left. Again, inhale, come up. Exhale over to the left. One more like that. Inhale, come up. And exhale over to the left. So as you inhale and come up this time, take your hands behind your back. Interlace the fingers there. Squeeze the shoulder blades together, open up across the chest. Now, for some of us, you might find a more satisfying opening across the chest by keeping the elbows bent. For others, it feels nice to straighten the arms. So that's up to you. Try to find that sense of getting really big and open across your chest. And then with that, turn your head from side to side. And then lift the chin up. And drop it down. Again, lifting up. And dropping down. All right, bring your head back up. Release your arms. Step your left foot forward into a long lunge. So for some of us, it'll be one step. For others, it'll be a couple of steps. You want to step far enough forward that when you start to shift your hips forward, you feel a bit of a stretch in your back hip, in your right hip and thigh. Now, right hand comes down to the floor or a block. Tuck the back toes. Lift the back knee. Now, pressing your left hand into your left thigh, start to twist toward your front leg. Now, you may wish to keep your hand down. You may reach your Left arm up into the sky, up alongside your head, behind your back. Sometimes it's nice to play with these different positions to feel into the shoulder. Check in with it. How does it feel today? All right, 3 more breaths. All right, then after your third breath, release your back knee down. Take the left leg back, hands back under shoulders, knees back under hips. One more time, tuck your toes, but before you go all the way to downward dog, just lift your knees and hover. Take some attention to your low back. Feel it pressing toward the floor as your tailbone is reaching up. Feel the engagement of the belly. Take another breath in. Exhale, lift all the way up into downward dog. Now, the second time in downward dog, take a slightly different distance between your feet, so wider or closer together, just to send different information into your nervous system about this general shape. Let it be different. Again, maybe your knees are slightly bent or very bent, but focus less on straightening the legs and more on reaching your tailbone toward the sky. So for many of us, if we focus too much on straightening our legs, we end up tucking the tailbone under in a way that's fairly unpleasant to experience. But then also shift your attention back to your hands, your fingertips in particular, and give them more weight. One more breath. All right, as you release down to your knees, step your right foot out to the side, so directly out from your hip. Walk the hands in to lift up. And then once again, palms together, interlace the fingers, press the palms forward and up. All right, deep breath in. Exhale over to the right. Again, inhale, come up. Exhale over to the right. And one more inhale, come up. And exhale over to the right. All right, now as you inhale and come up, release your arms, take them behind your back. And then depending on what you did before, if it was plenty comfortable to interlace your fingers, you can do that again. Just take your opposite thumb on top. You could also grab a hold of your forearms with your hands in a way that might be more comfortable, or even just making soft fists and bringing your fists together behind your back. Just simply bringing the arms behind the back in some way that's comfortable for you. All right, and then drop your head over to the left. So ear toward the shoulder. And then drop your head over to the right. Just a few times, side to side. Nice and gentle. All right, bring the head back up to center. Release the hands. Step the right foot forward into a long lunge. Again, it might be one step, might be two steps, but then as your hips are shifting forward, you start to feel a stretch in the left hip and thigh. Left hand to the floor or block. Tuck your left toes, lift your knee. Right hand to right thigh, start to twist to the right. And again, you might keep that right hand down on the thigh. You might reach your arm up. Explore some different positions. Take the arm up alongside the head. Take the arm behind the back. I like to check in with the shoulder in this position. All right, 3 more breaths. All right, one more breath. And then release your back knee down, right leg back, hands back under shoulders, knees back under hips. Tuck your toes before you lift all the way to downward dog. Just lift the knees and hover. Reach the tailbone up, so low belly, or I should say low back is dropping slightly, belly engaged. Full breath in. And exhale to downward dog. All right, now begin to walk hands and feet toward each other as you end up in a forward fold. Knees a little bent. Release the head, release any gripping or tension in your facial muscles, your jaw. And start to walk the hands up the fronts of the legs, rising up to stand. All right, so we'll take our feet about hip distance apart. With your in-breath, take your hips back, your arms forward. Now, for some of us, our shoulders are okay with the arms going forward. For others, it feels nice to take the arms up. So see what your shoulders prefer. Then as you exhale, press into your heels, rise back up and reach your arms backwards in space. So as far back as they're able to go. Again, inhale, finding chair pose, arms forward, hips back. Exhale to stand, reach back. All right, one more time, breathing in. And breathing out. All right, turn and step wide on the mat. Now turn the toes out and the heels slightly in. All right, begin to bend your knees, squatting down. Your thighs are going in the same direction as your toes. So you might peek down and see if your knees are dipping in. Don't turn your toes out quite as far because we want to approximate as much as possible the thighs going in line with the feet so that the knees are equally supported on both sides. All right, so squatting down, find balance. Take your arms out to the sides, bend your elbows, press your elbows back in space. So right now your upper body and your lower body are doing essentially the same thing. So elbows are pushing back, knees are pushing back. Back side of the body is very strong and engaged to help open and create space in the front. Couple of breaths in and out. All right, one more breath. All right, straighten your legs, release your arms, parallel your feet to each other. Take one hand to rest on your heart, one hand to rest on your belly. Releasing any remaining tensing through the legs and hips, through the shoulders and arms. And just feeling the breath as it flows in and down toward the belly and back up and out through the nose. All right, step near the back of your mat, facing the front of the mat. Again, feet about hip distance apart. With your inhale, find one more chair pose. And then with your exhale, fold over your legs and walk out to downward dog. Take a deep breath in as you come forward into plank, shoulders over the wrists, pause here and breathe. If this is a little bit too much for today, just take your knees down and lift your feet so you've got the knee plank version, but you're trying to be a fairly straight line from your head to your knees, whether they're on the floor or lifted. One more full breath. Now, if your knees are still up, go ahead and take them down, and then we'll all bend our elbows and slowly come all the way down to the floor. Untuck your toes, walk your arms forward, take your elbows underneath your shoulders. And then we'll turn our palms up, squeeze and release the fingers a few times. And then as you make that soft fist, curl it in toward your elbows. Give a little stretch to the top side of your wrists. All right, and then lower your chest and head down to the floor. You might cross your hands and make a little pillow. Scoot one knee up and out to the side, kind of like that tree pose, but now face down instead of face up. And just pause here for a few cycles of breath, letting the whole body melt into the floor. And feeling the breath come back to a natural, easy, unrestricted pace. All right, slowly bring the legs back together. Take the hands to either side of your chest. Press back up onto hands and knees. And then we'll briefly come into a seated position. So you might sit up on a cushion or a block. You might sit directly on the floor, depending on how you're comfortable. But you want to have a general sense that your torso is upright and lifted and not necessarily slouching backwards. If you are slouching back a little bit, that's a good sign to sit up on something. And you might sit cross-legged. You might have your legs straight, depending on how you feel comfortable. But you want to feel like your torso is upright rather than kind of slouched back. So for many of us, sitting up on something helps your hips kind of feel like they can tip forward a little bit more effectively. So as you come into this seated position, close your eyes, bring your attention back inside your body. And then as you start to notice the feeling of breath, the sensations of breath, notice what sensations are present in your body. So after we've done just about 30 minutes or so of movement, where do you feel a sense of warmth in your body? What parts of your body might still be a little bit asleep? All right, so we'll do one last breathing practice in this position. So this is called square breathing. So if you think of the shape of a square that has four equal sides, square breathing has four parts to it, all of equal length. So you've got the inhale, pause, exhale, pause. So as you're breathing in, you'll breathe into the count of 4. Hold your breath inside for 4. Exhale for 4. And then don't breathe for 4. So breathing in to 4, hold it in for 4, breathe out for 4, hold it out for 4. All right, so go at your own pace of counting to 4, but essentially let those 4 parts of the breath cycle be of equal length. So begin when ready. One more round of breath in this way. And then release the control of the breath so that it flows in and out of the body without restriction. Then we'll guide our palms together in front of the heart. As we bow to the light within ourselves, we also bow to the light within each other. Thank you again for practicing with me, whether you're here live with me or watching the replay at a later time. I'll see you again next time. I'm going to try to do these on Wednesdays at 9 o'clock Central. So see you again soon. Bye bye.